On this dark and gloomy night, strange and terrifying events have occurred on the Collins estate. For the past several weeks, Julia Hoffman has been deeply troubled about the fate of Barnabas Collins. Tonight, she has gone to the old house, believing she will find him. But instead, she will find a man she has never seen before, a man who seems to know Collinwood, and whose presence will change the lives of all who live there.
Who are you? Tell me who you are and what you're doing here.
Please, lower the light and let me see you.
Not until you explain yourself.
Well, I was to meet someone.
Who?
Are you sure you don't know who I am?
Quite positive. If you don't tell me who you are, I'll call the police.
No, there's no need for that. I certainly meant no harm.
Now, what were you doing inside that house?
Julia? Julia, are you all right?
Yes.
I got terribly worried about you. You left the house so suddenly.
Well, I'm glad I did, because this man was searching... Where is he? He's gone. He was here a minute ago. Did you see him leave?
No. You have no idea who he was?
No, no idea at all. Maybe we better go inside the house. Maybe we can find out what he was after. You bolt the door while I light the candles.
Julia, what could he have been after?
I have no idea. But nothing seems to be disturbed.
Perhaps your arrival kept him from getting whatever he was looking for.
No, he didn't hear me. And he was leaving the house when I stopped him.
Strange.
Yes. Very strange.
Then you haven't had a chance to look for Barnabas.
There's no point in looking for him now. He's not here.
How can you be so sure?
I just am, that's all.
But Julia, at Collinwood, you were certain that Barnabas was on his way back. I'm afraid I don't understand.
Carolyn, you must never tell anyone this. But the story that Professor Stokes and I told the family about Barnabas's disappearance was true, except for one thing.
What was that?
Well, Barnabas didn't disappear while one of us was asleep. He simply vanished before our eyes.
Vanished?
Yes, he was still in his trance then.
But that's incredible.
And when he reappears, he can only reappear in the place that he disappeared.
In the cellar?
Yes, in the cellar. And I know he hasn't come back yet because I locked the cellar door.
But Julia, you're assuming that when Barnabas reappears, he'll be conscious and will try to leave the cellar. Suppose he were to return in an unconscious state.
I hadn't even thought of that. He could be down there now.
He might be.
Well, I've got to go and see. What's wrong?
I saw a man's face outside the window. It must have been the same man you found outside the house.
Well, there's no sign of anybody.
Who can he be, and what do you suppose he's looking for?
I wish I knew.
You didn't find Barnabas?
No, I didn't, but I think I'll spend the night here in case he does come back.
Well, if you're staying here, I'm certainly staying too. I don't want to walk back to Collinwood with that man roaming around the woods.
I don't blame you. Carolyn, good morning.
Good morning, Julia. Nothing happened during the night?
No, nothing. Did you sleep well?
No, not very, I'm afraid. I had a dream about Chris Jennings. I dreamt we were about to be married, but just as the ceremony was beginning, he disappeared.
Why did you dream about Chris?
Probably because he called last night.
He called?
Yes. He said he wanted to see me tonight. Julia, he's such a strange person. I haven't heard from him since I don't know when, and then suddenly he calls me. Sometimes I have the feeling he's two different people. Did you ever get that impression?
I can't say I've ever gotten to know him that well. Carolyn, before we go antiquing, would you mind if we stopped at Collinwood for one moment? I've got to make a phone call.
No, I don't mind at all.
One whale oil lamp.
One sewn by Herman Melville. Moby Dick was born by the light of this priceless object.
Now, you're not going to describe it that way.
Well, anything to drum up a little business. What's next?
One exquisite clock.
With a slightly broken pendulum.
Don't worry, I'll fix it. I'll put it aside.
Hello.
Hello, Carol.
Hi, Carolyn.
Philip and Megan, Todd, I'd like you to meet Dr. Julia Hoffman.
How do you do?
Hello.
Hello, Doctor.
I've told her all about your shop.
Hey, maybe we should hire you to spread the word about us.
You don't have to hire me. I'll do it anyway. I'm so impressed with what you have here.
Well, make yourself at home, Doctor. If you have a question about anything, just ask.
Thank you.
Have you bought new things since yesterday?
We were at an auction this morning.
Find anything spectacular?
No, but we did come across something that I decided to buy.
Oh.
It's a painting. I'll show it to you.
Your taste must be quite different from mine, Philip. I could have resisted that.
Well, like it or not, this canvas is a genuine Charles Delaware Tate.
I'm afraid I've never heard of him.
Philip's an authority on artists no one has ever heard of.
But tell me, are you sure that's a genuine Tate?
Oh, yes, I know his work well. I know his signature even better. That's it in the lower right corner, C.D. Tate.
How much is it?
What do you mean you're interested in it?
I might be.
Well, it's one of his later works. I'd say he did it about 20 years ago.
20 years ago? That's impossible. Charles Delaware Tate was painting at the turn of the century.
True, but he did go on painting for some time after that.
For another 50 years?
Apparently.
I don't believe it.
Julia, you never told us of this interest in Victorian painters.
Are you an admirer of Tate?
Well, yes. Yes, I am, but I had no idea he'd done anything this late. Isn't it possible you're mistaken and it's older than you think it is?
Well, if you look very carefully, you'll see that the age crackling is barely there. The subject is modern, but the canvas is.
How old would Charles Delaware Tate be if he were still alive?
Well, he was in his late 20s at the height of his fame. That was around 1900.
That would make him close to 100 years old.
I seriously doubt if he's still alive, Dr. Hoffman.
But if this painting is only 20 years old, he obviously still was in control of all of his faculties in his 80s. It's not inconceivable that he could still be alive.
I suppose it isn't.
I'd like to know where you found this painting.
At the Anderson Auction House in Rockport.
I see. And how much are you asking for? Well, it is for sale, isn't it?
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, then how much do you want?
$300?
All right, I'll take it. Would you mind writing down the telephone number of the Anderson Auction House, please?
By all means, Doctor.
And if you happen to find any more Tates, I'd be very grateful if you'd let me know.
Well, I'm not sure I can. For some reason, it seems that very few of his works are in circulation.
But he was very prolific, wasn't he?
Well, maybe somebody cornered the market years ago.
Well, we'll let you know if we find any, Doctor. And thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Carolyn, are you ready?
Yes, for practically anything.
Goodbye, Carolyn.
Goodbye. See you soon.
Goodbye. Thank you again.
Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there it is.
Oh.
Our first big one.
Hey, this calls for a celebration. To Charles Delaware Tate, alive or dead.
I wonder which it is.
Who are you looking up?
Oh, I thought Charles Delaware Tate might be listed in this, but he's not.
Julia, why your sudden preoccupation with this obscure painter?
He wasn't always obscure.
But he is now.
Well, it's not really a sudden preoccupation. His earlier works were almost all portraits. I'm anxious to find a particular one that gained a certain amount of fame in its time.
What was that?
Oh, I'm sure you've never heard of it.
All right. I leave you to your obscure quest.
Hello, is this the Anderson auction house? I've been referred to you by a Mr. Philip Todd. Yes, he bought a Charles Tate painting from you? Yes, I'm curious to know how you came by the painting. Ah, I see. May I ask whose estate it was? Matthew Smith. I see. Now, were there any other Tate paintings? Oh, someone else tried to buy this one. Do you know who? Oh, I see. Thank you very much. You've been very helpful. Where do I go from here? There may be only one chance in a million that Tate is still alive. But I've got to find out. The painting he did of Quentin somehow helped to end the werewolf curse. If Tate is still alive, he may be able to help Chris Jennings.
What is this thing? I've never seen anything like it. No one could have built it here without our knowing about it. Where did it come from?
Strange-looking thing, isn't it?
Who are you?
Oh, please, now, don't be frightened. I'm not going to harm you.
What are you doing out in these woods?
But I'm just taking
I
a
know
walk.
who you are.
No, please, you
You're the
mustn't
man
get
who you
yourself
caught
excited.
sneaking around the old house last night.
No, please, you mustn't get yourself
Stay
excited.
away from me.
Very well. I'll stay right where I am.
What is it you want here, anyway?
Would you believe me if I told you that I'm not sure?
No, I would not. This is Collins' property, and I would advise you to leave it immediately.
You Collins?
I'm Carolyn Stoddard. Well, are you going to leave or aren't you? What's the matter with you? Have you suddenly lost your voice?
You're a very beautiful woman.
Spare me the flattery and just leave.
And I like your attitude. You know what's yours. And I'd be willing to wager you're willing to fight to keep it.
You read me well.
Well, I hope we meet again, Miss Stoddard.
I wouldn't count on that.
Yes, well, you don't know me. And I am counting on it.
Well, what's the good news?
Far and away, the best day we've had yet. Now, if we could just find a customer like Dr. Hoffman every day.
Oh, we'd be rich at the end of the year.
Right you are. What are you doing?
I think we ought to close the shop early today.
Now, wait a minute. Let's not carry this celebration bit too far. We may still get a few customers to put to our new record.
Philip, do you believe in premonitions?
No. Why?
I just had one.
Congratulations.
No, I'm serious.
Honey, what's the matter?
I don't know. I have this strange feeling. Something terrible is going to happen to us if we stay here. Philip, I think we should sell the shop and leave Collinsport.
Sell the shop?
Yes.
But we just bought it. Megan, what's gotten into you? You should be ecstatic.
I was. A minute ago.
Well, you can't let one fleeting thought spoil everything. Things are just beginning to look up. We're going to be a big success.